everybody, and welcome to another version, a World Cup version. Bill Roden on Sports. I'm Bill Roden in Manhattan. Just coming off of, we had a celebration last night at the Studio Museum in Harlem for the
Yes.
20th anniversary of $40 million Slaves. And I think Jamal was there. And we had a very nice crowd, nice speakers. And the conclusion is that 20 years later, we'll be back talking about some of the same issues of black power in sports and trying to be owners and, trying to get more than three black head coaches in the NFL and trying to reconstruct um, DEI and all that. But anyway, Jamal, you were there. Shout
Yes.
out to you. Glad you made it from Brooklyn.
Hey, shout out to you. That was a great event. Happy anniversary. Happy 20th anniversary of $40 million Slaves. We had a great discussion. A lot of people showed up. Um, it was a star-studded event, as they say.
Worldwide,
Star-studded.
Worldwide West was there.
Worldwide West was there. I didn't even know that you two were cool like that, Bill. You hid that from me.
Yeah.
Who else? Maria Maria
Maria
Taylor,
Taylor. Yeah. Maria
uh,
Taylor was there.
Broussard
NBC.
was
Yeah.
there,
Chris Broussard
Chris
was there.
Broussard, a bunch of people.
Yeah. You were
Um,
there
I was there.
representing Bros Pod.
Yes, and we had great discussion. And like you said, things have changed a little bit. Yeah, and we've said this all along. The only difference is from $40 million slaves. Maybe it's $400 million slaves now. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I don't know how many people are making $40 million. I mean, you can't sneeze at $40 million a year.
no, but that's like
But
that's like a bench player on the
right.
on on the Knicks or something.
Yeah. And I thought that was an interesting discussion when Michelle Roberts,
Yes, Michelle Roberts.
who was there, the former executive director of the NBA Players Association, thing came up, is would you advise the players, the Knicks, to go to the White House?
That was great. Yeah, that was a
And
good
she
one.
was very straight ahead and very said no.
No,
That you don't have to go. There's nothing in the CBA, and if there's any collusion or if there's any pressure on you, the Players Association is supposed to have your back. That you can't force people to do that.
right. And an interesting part of that was as we just mentioned, Worldwide West was in the audience while she's saying this, and he obviously is in the Knicks. He's in the Knicks
Right.
front office.
Yep.
So that
And
that's
I
an
don't think
interesting
he's going.
dynamic.
I don't think he's going to be there.
Right? No,
We'll see.
you know.
So yeah. Oh, so anyway, but yeah. So that was that, and now we're in World Cup mode.
Yes.
We're in World Cup, full out World Cup mode. I know
Well,
you've
Bill,
been
I'm a,
watching
I'm a soccer fan now, Bill, or a
uh,
football fan. I'm a football
uh,
fan, Bill, a real
football,
football fan.
FUT,
Yeah,
football.
football.
Yeah.
But
In,
I'm a real foot. Can you believe? Like, this is not a sport I ever. Even growing up as a kid, I never wanted to play. There's too much running around. For like one
running
goal a
around.
game. You
Right. I
know,
know.
never want to do
Yeah.
that. But I've really, and I always do get into it. I got into the last World Cup, but I feel like this one really, got me. And I guess all the stars showed up. Mbappe, Messi, Ronaldo.
The kid
You
from
know,
Norway,
yeah, the kid from
Harlan.
Norway, Holland. The guy from England.
Uh, well, they got two of them. They got one's a brother,
Right, right.
and the other, what's
Jude,
his name?
Jude, something. This is how
What's
big
his
a fan
name?
I am, Bill.
I know. I mean, Harry Kane. Not and
Harry
Harry
Kane,
Kane.
Harry
Harry Kane.
Kane,
Come on, Jamal.
Harry
You got that's like not knowing LeBron James.
Kane. It really is.
I'm new to the American. You come to America. Oh, I don't know.
Right. And I use my kids. I'm like, who would you who is a comparison to him if in the NBA? So they help me out. Like, oh, this person is be like Anthony, Anthony Edwards. I'm like, really? Yeah,
Wow.
he's the best midfielder in the world. So stuff like that, and just watching the game and the strategy involved, and it's really been very very exciting. You know,
Yeah. And of course, but a lot of hype because there's so much hype around Team USA, USA, USA. And like, there was so much hype around him, because we so desperately, the USA desperately wants to be respected by the world community, which looks at us like you just a bunch of little spoiled rich kids
Yeah,
playing this game. You know, that's what you got soccer moms and the suburbs and all that. And where everybody else is blue collar and kind of scuffling. Said, y'all don't scuffle, in soccer. But yet
right.
we had a couple good results, and then it doesn't take much for us to flip the switch and become like we're the best, we're the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
So
and I think the last podcast we did, I mentioned, oh, the USA looking good. I think they had won their group maybe at that point, and I'm like, oh, and I had noticed that this is the best the U.S. had looked in a long time on the field. Like in previous World Cups, I watched the U.S. and you knew right away that they weren't on even close to the same level. But I think they fooled people this time because they had had a good group play, and maybe their group was a little
a
weak in terms
little
of
weak, a little weak on the side.
competition. But then they did win that first knockout, which is a new knockout stage, right? They expanded the World Cup almost like some NCAA tournament expansion,
Right,
right? So this year the knockout was the last 32 teams, right?
right,
Usually it's the round of 16 is the first knockout round, which the U.S. could never get out of. And
right.
this year we did get out of the 32. We beat who do we beat?
Uh,
Bosnia.
Bosnia Herzegovina.
Yes,
That's right. They beat Bosnia.
right. They
Yeah,
beat Bosnia, who was respected as a tough, gritty team. So they won. They won that match, and I actually think they were pretty good. I think they were better than what they showed against Belgium. They did not look like the same team at all in that match. The one I had watched all their matches up to that point. There's definitely a difference, and you can say that Belgium was just a step up in competition. And once in that first 5 minutes, the U.S. felt it, right? So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
they
but they were supposed to be distracted. That
right,
gets into the story. The U.S. team from the dolly. Then your guy got the red card.
right.
Bologun, Balagoon
Balagoon
got the
got
red
the red
card.
card,
That was disputed, and it
right?
became typically a worldwide scandal, and he shouldn't have got it then.
And it was a terrible red card in my opinion. It was terrible,
Okay,
right?
it's terrible.
Because watching the World Cup, I had seen that play happen 10 plus times and never seen anything. Maybe a yellow card once or twice, and sometimes it was not called. And Messi had done the same exact thing or worse, and it was not called. So I agree that was a terrible thing. That probably and me not being a soccer fan, I'm like, wait a second, he gets a red card for that, and he has to miss the next game.
That's the same
And
thing
there's
the
no
president
and there's
said.
no review. You don't even get a review. This is like it's like the
Right,
NBA. They'll review it after the fact, and maybe they'll come to a different decision. But no,
right.
everybody's telling me there's no review.
No
Nothing
review.
happened.
That's
He's
supposed to
out.
be this is it.
And
No
then
review.
what happened?
And lo and behold, there was a review because the White House intervened and said, asked the president of the executive director of FIFA, who gave the president the first annual peace prize, asked him to kind of look at it, quote unquote. He did. It was reversed, and that became a furor. Some people say USA, that doesn't matter, and other people were really upset about it. So, man, that's why we can't call U.S. an underdog. How can you be an underdog when you got the president of the United States twisting arms? Yeah.
Well, here's my thing. Even at the time when he first did it, obviously he killed all the vibes, like inserting himself into the mix here. And but my theory was I don't believe a thing that Trump says. And whenever Trump says something, I kind of think that the opposite is true. And so so my mind goes to, did he? I'm thinking he probably didn't even make a call. He's just taking credit. After they overturned something. That's what I was thinking. Like he might not have done anything, right? But he's going to take credit regardless. But either way, he inserts himself into this into the competition. and it changed everything. It changed the vibes. Other countries, rightfully so, are like, oh, this is some bullshit. You know, forget the U.S. We hope you guys get killed by Belgium. Belgium took it personally. They're like, they had been practicing under the belief that Balogun would not be there, so it's kind of unfair to them in some sense. Um, and then even within the country itself, we start fighting each other, like just Trump getting involved is kind of a jinx,
Right.
and we saw that in Game 3 of the Knicks series. What happened? That's the one game they
They
lost.
lost, right? Because of what? Yeah, yeah, exactly. And even Bellinger said he went to the coach, the Belgian, I think the Belgian coach,
Hmm.
and told him that, hey man, it wasn't me. So clearly this was on his mind.
Right,
This was on his mind. This pure soccer was not on his mind, but
right.
this was on his mind. So they went out there and they got destroyed.
Destroyed.
you know,
And then the Belgian players, doing the Trump dance to
I know.
celebrate.
Yeah, who was it, the brother who I forget who scored the last goal?
Right, right. I'm
Uh,
not sure his name.
I didn't realize that this guy had a dance.
You never seen Trump dance to YMCA.
Unbelievable.
So they did his dance. They danced on us. They destroyed us. And like you said, the vibe of the team was off. Whether it was Balagoon and probably the team in general. It took the focus off of
Right.
what it was supposed to be, just the pure competition. And now you're dealing with all this nonsense. And I'm sure there are some players who are pro-Trump and some players who are anti-Trump on the team, probably along racial lines. Usually, that's how that works. So and I'm sure it had an effect because they didn't they didn't they didn't have that same energy they had to start the
They
game as
didn't.
they had at the
They
other
were
games.
distracted,
Right,
and Belgium was laser focused.
right,
Said we're gonna kick your ass,
right.
and overturn this, you know.
But at the
So
same time, it was also what you referred to before, that Belgium is better than us anyway. Like they're better than us. We are not at the on that same level. So even
they're
if we
deep.
were
They're
focused,
deeper than enough. They got to. Yeah.
it would have been a tough win. It would have been tough to come out with a win, even if they were focused.
I remember last time they played, Belgium won 5-2.
Right,
So it wasn't like that. I mean, It's kind of a different team, but
right,
clearly not different enough.
right.
So yeah. So even today, I mean, people are still arguing about. People are calling these shows I listened to, and they were just heartbroken, and how are we going to fix our system, and I mean, it went all over the place. The pay for play, and we needed is broken, and all that stuff. I mean, this is like 3 days after the people are still crestfallen because they thought that we were going to win the World Cup. And if you look at
Well,
the
that's
competition,
crazy. If people who
yeah,
thought we were going to win the World Cup, I knew what if we got to Spain and France and that kind of thing, it was going to be no way. You know, but it's sort of like what we were saying with $40 million slaves. It's the same thing. Like, how long have we been saying the same thing about USA soccer? Oh, what's wrong with every World Cup? We have this discussion
right, every
when we
World
get
Cup.
we get crushed every World Cup or in between. You know, what's wrong with USA soccer? We're great in every other sport. Why can't we get this right? Well, I think it's pretty simple. I think.
Well, the same thing happens in when you do the World Baseball Classic, and all of the Latin players leave their major league teams and go play for their country.
Right.
Now all of a sudden the U.S. is hard pressed to win a World Baseball Classic because
Right.
all the best players who are from Central America, South America, you know, they leave, and so you know that's in soccer. Same thing. We're not getting our best athletes. We're getting the best athletes who can pay. And none of the guys even on the team are developed in the United States.
Right.
They're developed in Europe.
Right. And we're getting
So
like second tier guys. I mean, you look at like France. They have and remember they have a bunch of players with African descent, born in African countries, or the
Right.
parents were,
These
and
kids were like the first they're the first generation European players.
right,
To be born in France or the Netherlands or Switzerland or
right,
Norway. I mean, it's
right.
remarkable.
It's
It's
remarkable. It's
remarkable.
remarkable. I mean, I was watching a Switzerland game, match a couple days ago, and you think Switzerland, you think pretty white
Right.
country, right?
Right.
And so I'm expecting to see that on the soccer field. And they were in a huddle. They scored,
Right.
and they were in a huddle. I'm like, wait, is this Georgetown in the '80s?
Right. Right.
It's like, what in the
Right.
world?
Right. Right. You know? Yeah, Norway, same thing. And one of the guys who played with the brothers, like one of the baddest guys on the team. Well, it's not Harlan, but you
Right.
know, he inserted him in there to change the flow. This brother was like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so yeah. But that's the kind of people we don't have
Right.
because they don't
Right.
want. I mean, if you look at it, as much as Latin players in this country, young Latin players from all over Central, are playing. They're playing soccer when they're like 8, 7, 8 years old. You know, but that's not reflected on our team. I mean, if they took just gathered up just all the great young players who've been playing soccer for like since they were like 5,
Right.
no cost, no, just brought them in. Our team will look different. Our
Yeah.
team will look totally different.
No
You
question.
know.
But
So
even
anyway,
and this year, I mean, every year it becomes more diverse. There are more black players on the team. This
right,
year, there were more black players than they've ever had.
right.
In 2022, there were more than they've ever had at that point.
Suburban black, but I mean, I think it's yeah, I think that's a good point. It's fair, but then you do a deeper dive
Right.
where they come from,
Right.
where they, and then it tells a different story. But just the optics, like, oh yeah, good. The team is much more integrated than it was before, which is thing, but there's still the system still is not an open system,
No.
where they're not making people pay to play. So
Right. Right.
maybe I don't know.
No, it's you're right. And we've already seen like Landon Donovan complaining about it, saying we're never going to be able to compete with these true soccer countries doing it the way we do it, which is basically, and we talked about it. We talked about this last night. You talked about this last night. Uh, you know, at the 20th anniversary,
Yeah.
about it's really just a money grab.
Yep.
It's a money grab for these clubs and these 8-year-olds you're paying. I have a 7-year-old. You're paying like a couple $1,000 each season to play soccer, and they're like trying to stack the teams, and the oldest kids that can fit in 7U, we're going to put them there so can we win. But and Landon Donovan made this point. Everybody makes this point. Who cares if you're winning at 8 years old? It doesn't matter. The key should be development, right?
Right.
So that not
Right.
only not only are you not allowing everybody to play because of the money, which is problem number one, but problem number two is once the kids that are in there that can't afford it, they're not even being developed to the
Right.
best of their abilities because these coaches want to win now, and they care about that rather than true development.
Yeah. So um, what can you say? Just wait for the NFL season. I mean, so and by the way, our NFL and NBA systems are like exacting about how they can mine talent, and develop it, you know.
Right,
So soccer has a way to go, because there's if I think you did. I mean, you play high school football,
right,
middle school football,
right,
you know. If you could, well, maybe it's different because if it's a private school, you don't have to pay to play football, but you got to pay to go to school,
right,
you know.
right.
So
I think we'll be talking about this next World Cup, and I don't see it getting fixed. You know how this country works. It's all about, money is the number one thing, and you're not gonna. Good luck trying to stop people
yeah,
from making money.
yeah, forget that, brother. We ain't got this was fine enough for us, you
Right.
know. We'll fire the coach and start all over again, but we are not changing the pay for play system. If you think we're going to do that, you're out of your mind.
Right, right, and then you got people in Europe complaining. Like I've seen a couple comments like, "Oh, I don't care, France and Spain, who's Africans are better." I've seen
Yeah.
statements like that. Um, but for me, you know, like who, like I'm trying to think who, like what Josh Hart tweeted the other day after the U.S. lost. He said, "Well, U.S. lost. Who are we rooting for now, guys?" So I think I'm rooting for France now.
Uh,
Because they got the best players. They got the
yeah.
best African players. And it's clear as day. They got like four All Stars on that team,
As opposed to Argentina, who has no racist Argentina, no black players.
which is wild.
None. Well, it's systemic.
Hmm.
That gets into Argentina and their history of purging Africans and Africans from the country.
Right.
It's very despicable.
No, it's
So
just
I'm not down.
and
I'm not down with Argentina at all.
I hear that, and just we just talked about how many all these countries, Switzerland, Sweden, Holland, Norway, they
Norway,
they have black players galore.
yeah,
So
a bunch of
and
them.
Argentina has none.
None. So I guess, and then the way I don't know, the White House, they say, oh, it'd be great to have Norway play Argentina. Except that Norway, or they're going to have black players, you know.
Right, right,
So I don't know. Who do you like, man? As we wrap up our World Cup conversation, and then you've suddenly got addicted, and you're now an
yeah.
expert. Who do you like? Who do you think is going to be playing in the championship game match?
I like France. They're the favorite. They're everybody's favorite right now, and for good reason. They have like four or five of the best players, in the world, who play on different teams, during their seasons and are the best player on those teams, and you just see it. You see the skill that these guys possess, and they're deep, and they bring guys off the bench who are good. And I guess, it looks like they would have to play. It looks like they'll play Spain if Spain beats Belgium.
Right.
And Spain was the other favorite coming in, but Spain hasn't been as impressive as France has throughout this tournament.
But they've been
And
playing
yeah,
very
they've done what they had
methodical,
to do.
not making mistakes.
But they have that one star,
You mean
Yamin
Lamille?
Yamal,
Yeah, you know,
who's like about 19 years old. He's a
like
phenom.
13, right?
He was on 60 Minutes before 60 Minutes got corrupted. When it was a legit
When it was a legit news show, right?
news show. I remember seeing him on there. But on the other side, you got what, Argentina, and it looks like, and Argentina keeps winning these games. Some people will say with help. With help of the referees, and
Yeah.
we talk about Trump. People are accusing Argentina of having undue
Under
influence.
well, they had three Argentina refs today
Yeah,
at the France
yeah.
who they play? Damn,
Uh,
I just forgot that man.
Morocco.
France Morocco game.
Yeah,
So no, man, it's just corrupt organization after corrupt organization, man. It's unbelievable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, my pick is France, and I guess they probably end up seeing Argentina again, which would be a repeat of the last
Of the
World Cup.
last one, right?
Right.
So let's see. I guess we can run that back. That will be. You talk about divisive and polarizing. That may that may be the most watched World Cup
Sporting event.
final
Right.
in the history.
Right.
In the history, I might even try to get the Super Bowl numbers.
I do like. I have enjoyed the coverage in terms of, or not the coverage, but just the fact that it's hosted, that we're hosting it, the United States is hosting it, and I do love like the dynamic of having them play in different cities
Yeah,
in
that's
the
been very
country,
cool.
and like different football fields, like Kansas City. Today
Yeah.
was in Foxborough, MetLife, Philadelphia. Even remember one of the best games was in Mexico
Oh
City,
my
where
God. Oh, Mexico and
in
England.
England, that was a great.
That
The
was a great
atmosphere was
game.
just crazy. So
Yeah.
I have like that aspect of it. That's been fun. I think that's played a part in it. Did you see? Just going back to one of our favorite topics, racism. Did you see? Did you see the Mbappe scandal
Oh yeah, with the
the
art, was it
with the
the
senator from
port
Paraguay.
for Paraguay? Yeah.
Basically, we
The-
called him a monkey or something. Like,
Yeah,
stuff
she.
is
So
just
I mean, it was awful.
awful, and she refuses to apologize. She's like, "This is who I am," And
Unbelievable.
he fired back. He said, he wrote, something, and it had an impressive response, like just,
Mm,
uh, denouncing what she said and questioning, how she's a senator
yeah,
in that country. But
yeah,
yeah, this is what these soccer players have to deal with.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
Paraguay is no day to be cheap. We talk about Argentina.
hmm
Paraguay is a close second. As opposed to like Brazil, which is by contrast is a pretty open and liberal. I mean, well, certainly a multi-ethnic,
right,
you know, country.
right,
So yeah, so you choose. You think you're going to see Argentina and France in the World Cup? I'll go with that because I think it's a great story.
right,
I think it's a great and it's a contrast, and all of us who deal with the intersection of race and class and sports will have a field day with that. Because even
right,
even through this, I mean, it's taken the World Cup for us to really look at colonialism
right.
and how it's like what Malcolm called chickens come home to roost
hmm
when you see all these countries, as in Portugal, you know, uh, the Belgian Congo, you know, uh, all those, and even to be honest with you, Morocco and Egypt. I mean, I know they're part of Africa, but they their relationship to sub-Saharan Africa was no picnic.
right,
So I think the World Cup has been very eye-opening and allowing people to see it's a map of colonialism, you know. So that's probably because, and I know a lot of people say, don't look at that. Just stick with the
yeah.
soccer.
But like you said, there's no, you can't avoid but seeing that.
Yeah, well,
I
yeah,
mean,
because you
it's right
what
in your face.
you see Sweden. So wait a minute, Sweden. I thought that there were no black people in Sweden. Well, there
Right,
may not be, but the 12 that are there are all on the soccer team.
right.
They think Norway, well, certainly Norway, yeah, maybe, but the 15 people and black people in Norway are on the soccer team.
It's almost like their soccer uh, infrastructure is like our basketball
Yep,
infrastructure. Like, hey, if you got like, or almost like, it's almost similar to like college sports.
right,
Like the only reason they're at that college, like all these
right.
schools, the only black people they have on campus are the basketball
They're
players,
playing basketball.
right?
So in Norway, probably, I don't know, one out of every four black people you see are on the soccer team or on the or in the soccer system.
Right, right. Yeah, the same thing for like a
Especially I'm in
college.
the supermarket. Oh, you know, I'm actually a physician. I'm in med school.
And it's probably the same thing at University of Alabama. You
Same
know,
thing, yeah. Well, you see the same thing. You see these countries with this black presence, just like you see Auburn, at Auburn, which is a school that is 97% like white student
right,
population, but the basketball team is like 90% black, and the
right,
football team 95% black.
right,
And if you look at the offensive and defensive units, like 95% black. But in the context of the school, where blacks are like 3%. So it's the same thing. You look at Norway, Sweden, but all these countries, it's the same thing. But a significant part of their soccer teams are like black. They're African.
right,
Even if they were born there, they were born in Norway, born in Sweden, born in their first generation Norwegian, first generation,
right.
So that's to that extent, the World Cup has really forced people, if they want to open their eyes, you know, and if some kid, well, Dad, Sweden, what? I didn't know that there were any black people. Then the dad would have to talk about, well, they colonized there, yeah, forget that, John. Let's look at the game.
But I tell you what, I have from watching, I have a great appreciation for these tremendous African players in soccer, and there's
They're great.
a couple good white ones too, at Holland and Kane. But most of these Africans are running this tournament.
They're
You
great.
know?
And the question is, if I wrote a piece about that a couple of days ago, was a challenge to Africa is how do you create an infrastructure so you could keep and develop all this great talent instead of having to send it abroad to to get manufactured. They got all these great resources, but you got to send it somewhere else to be manufactured. Then they sell it back to you. You
Right.
know,
And
so
even at this point, I mean, I think 10 African countries, and like you said, a couple of
right,
them are Egypt and Morocco, but you have Senegal, you have Congo, some others. 10 African countries made the knockout round, so
right,
they're good. They're good too,
yep,
but you can tell that their best talent has been siphoned off to these European teams,
yeah,
right?
and
Because the African countries are very scrappy and tough, but they don't have that same offensive talent that these
yeah,
other that the European countries have taken from them.
because they're playing over there, and
Right,
and, and that's what the guys said. They're missing the Mbappe. They're
right,
missing the mess. But they are in the country. They're
right,
in Africa. They just go somewhere else.
right,
Their
right,
parents go somewhere else. That's where they're born. And so, I mean, we're talking about it's an economic question. It's
right,
not like a soccer. It's an economic question. Families moving to England. I mean, they got a few brothers on that team. You know, so yeah. So it's been fascinating to watch, and I'll be. I'm glad each day that there's a game every other day, and I'm hopefully look. I've been to about 5 matches. I've been to MetLife
right.
uh, 2 times. I've been to Philly twice. Maybe I've been to MetLife 3 times.
Hmm.
So yeah, but it's been good. It's a different kind of crowd, to be in the press box and see, all the Brazilian journalists, all the, when I see the Senegalese journalists. It's been very cool. So, but soon it will be over.
And I'm sure you'll be at the championship game, right? I think which would be next
I'll be
Sunday.
there. Hopefully, I'll get a seat. Because it's so competitive. I mean, in
Right,
terms of how many slots that you get and all that stuff. You know, Fortunately, at MetLife Stadium, which they now call, I forget what they call it. They call
New
it New
York, New
Jersey's,
Jersey, New York, New
yeah,
Jersey.
something like that. But it's a huge press box.
Right,
It's a very large press box,
right,
so it kind of accommodate people. And then they have auxiliary seating that's like up in the blue. I said, no,
right.
you hang out in the back. MetLife Stadium out in the back.
Yeah, can't see anything.
Yeah, but you said, well, they got all the TVs lined up. you
Okay,
know.
okay,
Well, not in the
okay.
back in terms of the rows, but like in the back where you get the food and all that,
Right, right.
in that area.
Okay,
You
okay.
could, they got TVs all on the wall. So if you don't feel like sitting up with the crows, you could just sit there. But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. So next week when we come back, we could actually talk about, you know, uh, NFL and Knicks.
Right.
Probably not baseball until the playoffs. It
If if
can
if if then if
if
then.
then
Well,
can the Dodgers can the Dodgers
my Mets are a shit show, so no reason for me to watch baseball anymore.
yeah, the Mets.
You know,
I forgot they even had a franchise. Yeah.
it's not
Uh,
hard to forget.
uh,
Let me
all
ask you
right,
this
man.
before we get out of
Uh,
here. You got to tell me where do you want to see LeBron James next
uh,
year?
Jamal, I don't
Golden
care,
State,
man.
Cleveland.
I don't care. I know that's not the I'm supposed to be in terms of getting clicks of attention. I'm supposed. Oh, I think he should be. I don't care, man, brother. I mean, listen. He and they know they're going to be part of the conversation for a while. They probably already. It's not new. They probably already know where they're going. The rest of this is like the decision,
Right.
you know. And I guess the other wild card is how does Bronny figure into that? How are they going to leave that brother with the Lakers? Because I'm sure as soon as he's gone, they say,
No, it's over.
Bronny,
It's
bring
over
your
for him.
play, bring your playbook.
He's like the Antetokounmpo brothers, you know.
Right? As I know, and I wonder what's going to happen. They probably, yeah. So no, man, I don't care. Where do you think he's going to go?
I have no. I mean, people think either Golden State or Cleveland. It's just, do you think?
Why
Would
would
you
I go
want?
back to Cleveland?
Because that's the storybook ending. You
Uh,
finish your career where you started it, where you're from. You have your swan song from there. You even have a chance to compete. I guess they were. Cleveland made
But
the.
to be in there in January,
Yeah,
February,
I hear that.
March, that is tough,
Yeah,
man.
he's probably going. You're right. He's probably going to Golden State.
Yeah, I mean,
And what do you think about
or
that? Him playing with Steph Curry and Draymond. It would be a spectacle.
it would be a spectacle. It would definitely be a spectacle. It would be good for us.
Right.
It would be good for us because, oh my God, could you imagine that circus? Or if he was smart, he would go to San Antonio, and,
Yes.
and then
If he wanted another ring, that's where you go.
yeah, and if he wants to play for 5 more years,
Right.
and say, Wimby, here, you take it.
Right.
But I think that San Antonio is like, no, we'll pass LeBron. We're good. We're good. What do you think about San Antonio hiring Billy Donovan
I
to
thought
look
that
over Mitch Johnson's shoulder?
that's interesting to me. I didn't see that coming. It's not like I never knew there was a connection between like the Popovich tree and Billy Donovan. And then Billy Donovan, I mean, he was a great college coach, but he hasn't done anything in the NBA.
No. So they're bringing him there almost like to tell Mitch Johnson, well, there's no gun to your head, but the gun's on the table.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, Mitch Johnson's probably done. I'm sure he has done more in the NBA than Billy
than
Donovan.
Billy Donovan. But I guess there must be I don't know whose idea that was.
Yeah, I
But
don't get it.
after that debacle against the Knicks, they may have figured you need, I don't want to say a white boy, but you need somebody, a senior presence
Right.
looking over your shoulder who can replace you if this shit happens again.
I guess, but I can't be mad at a young coach who takes the young team to the finals.
No, man, he did a great job, and I think they all learned lessons.
Right, right. That's what it's
You
all
all
about.
learned lessons, man. You up 12 points, 29 points.
Hey, man, it was just destined to be. It was the Knicks' time to break that curse.
I'm sure that's what Mitch was trying to tell the owners. Hey,
It was just meant to be, man.
it's just meant to be there. Yeah, well, it's meant for Billy Donovan to be on your right hand.
Right,
You know,
right.
so
That's true.
all right, man. So
All
that's
right. No, that that's
well.
that that's it for today. For today, we gave you our World Cup coverage, and
That's right. Be happy with that.
thanks to the listeners as always. Thanks for listening. You can listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. Follow us on social media on Instagram at BrosPod, Twitter at BrosPod, Facebook Bill Roden on Sports, and if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely share, like, smash the like button, as they say. Uh, Share it, comment, all that good stuff. And we'll be back, of course, next
Soon,
week. Soon.
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 All right. Enjoy the World Cup.